but it was there, and I had Grandma to thank for it. My fingers traced the lovely embroidery on the spellbook's cover. Begonias, chrysanthemums, and blue stars on a beautiful shade of green reflected in the dyed streak of my blonde hair. As far as spellbooks went, this one wasn't overly thick or full of powerful spells worth protecting under lock and key, but it was the most important thing in my possession. That was why I kept it in my bedroom rather than down in the shop like any other witch might. Carefully, reverently, I opened the book to the first page. Empty, but for a short list of names written in Grandma's beautiful script. A family tree of sorts. There at the bottom was her name, Hazel Oakes. Birth year, death year, followed by mine, Hope Avery. Birth year, no death date. I wasn't sure if the absence of my father's name meant magic had skipped him, if he had turned out to be a mage instead of a witch, or if he'd cut all ties with Grandma the way he had with me and Mom after she'd remarried. Why waste precious paper space on someone who wasn't interested? At the bottom of the page, Grandma had drawn 5 small icons, one for each point of the pentagram. Spirit, air, earth, water, and fire. The only difference between a witch and a mage was which element they wielded. For witches, it was spirit that allowed us to imbue our magic into potions and spells. Those with an affinity to the other 4 elements, mages, were left hurling fireballs and things like that. Impressive if you were into that stuff, but not nearly as useful. After that first page, Grandma had written down simple spells, made illustrations and notes of different plants, and left plenty of space for me to keep up the records. This was no old book passed down through the centuries, and the family tree was no show of ancient lineage. But Grandma had started it, and by the mother, I would keep it going. All heirlooms had to start at some point. Not for the first time, I wondered whatever had happened to Miss Bagley's spellbook. The witch had no heirs to inherit it, or the shop would have gone to them instead of to the Council of Witches to be handed down to someone else. Had whoever packed her possessions given the spellbook to the council? Did the council keep a library of dead witches' spellbooks? Did they have someone in charge of going through each spellbook and copying down useful spells before throwing the tomes into a fire? With humanity at large being ignorant of the paranormal world, one couldn't be too careful. My phone's ringtone interrupted my mental meandering, and I read the time with unease. I needed to get moving or I was going to be late to open the shop. Not that it mattered with my average of 1 client a day, but the council frowned on things like that during the probation period, and the 1-star review was bad enough already. "Hi, Vicky," I said into the phone. Yanking open a drawer, I pulled out some underwear. "Hope," Vicky answered with a twinge of unhappiness. "I just saw the review. Are you okay?" Moving across the country meant leaving friends and family behind. But Vicky had been there on opening day with a plate of cupcakes and a bottle of hot cocoa, ready to welcome me to Olmeda. While I did my best to swallow the hot beverage on an already sweltering August day, she eagerly told me all about her one-woman carriage tour business and how we businesswomen had to stick together. As someone who had occasionally worked at the shop in the past, she'd felt it was her duty to welcome me into the neighborhood. She had been the only one, and for that she was now my new best friend, even if she had no idea about the paranormal side of the world. "Of course," I chirped, grabbing a t-shirt off a pile in the closet. "You sound happy." Hesitancy filled her voice, as if she was unsure I had actually seen the 1-star or the content of the review. "It's my first review. Now the floodgates are open and more will follow. You know how people love to be contrary on the internet. Soon I'll have a bunch of 5 stars just to show that old biddy. You know what they say," I added, my spirits truly buoying. By the mother, I was so right. Bad news at dawn means the day can only improve. "Who says that?" "My grandma." "I thought she was dead. Rest in peace. She sounds like a lovely person," Vicky added in a rush. "She is." I gave the spellbook another look.